Andre, a teenager with way too much confidence in his mental GPS, decides to take his cousin on a bike ride to the beach. He promises an adventure, which in the teenage dictionary usually means getting lost but pretending it was on purpose. When they finally get there, Andre insists they should crawl through the rocks to find a more isolated spot. Honestly, this feels less like a beach picnic and more like the start of a survival journey. Of course, the tide rises, and the two end up trapped. Instead of panicking, Andre starts acting like the boss, telling his cousin to just wait. I don't know about you, but if I were stuck between rising water and slippery rocks, my first move would be to call for help. To kill time, Andre decides to talk about moon phases and tides. His cousin just wanted to swim, but he turns the wait into a full-on school project. Meanwhile, somewhere in the 1980s, a girl named Teresa wanders around a church late at night. She hears the sermon echoing in her head, but like any bored teenager, she starts imagining things way off script. Picture a mix of catechism class and a bad Mexican soap opera. Her caretaker catches her and decides to punish her. Locked up with nothing but a little prayer book, raw cucumbers for dinner, and way too much time, Teresa discovers that the real sin is boredom. Now we jump to the 1610s, when Countess Bathory, yes, that one, shows up in a Hungarian village. Instead of handing out bread or collecting taxes, she starts examining the women. If this were in the US, she'd probably have her own reality show on Bravo. If I were in any of these stories, here's what I wouldn't do. Crawl over sharp rocks just to have privacy. A picnic table would do the trick, and I'd definitely bring snacks, because whether you're trapped on the beach, locked in a church, or found by a Hungarian countess, food is always a survival strategy. But anyway, back to the story. The village women are taken to the countess's palace, and right away they're blown away by the castle's luxury. I mean, most of us walk into an Airbnb with a capsule coffee machine and already think it's high class. Imagine a full-on palace. But there's a problem. The countess looks grumpy, so the peasant women decide she needs a cheer up. Her right-hand man, a loyal squire, takes the women to see the castle's bathrooms. And there, it turns into a real girls' night out. They laugh, take baths, make jokes, and even scribble naughty drawings on the walls, like they're in the restroom of a Vegas nightclub. After the fun, the women come out perfumed, glowing with scented oils, and completely naked. That's right, no clothes. The countess, not amused by the wall art, shows up furious, cleaning off the drawings while her squire sips a drink like it's happy hour on a Friday.
Meanwhile, the women are led, still totally nude, into a huge hall. There, the countess offers them a chalice of what looks like wine. The toast turns into a full-on medieval spring break, and they get so hyped that they beg to touch the countess's dress. And they don't just touch, they push the poor noblewoman onto a bed, rip off her clothes, and one peasant even bites her necklace, then, don't ask how, decides to hide the pearls in a very intimate place. The party goes completely off the rails. The women start fighting each other while the countess pulls the classic "I'm just stepping out for a pack of cigarettes" and sneaks away. A while later, she reappears in the bathroom where a bathtub full of blood waits, her loyal squire cleaning his sword. This is the kind of scene where I personally would not get into the tub. I just call a medieval Uber and get out of there. But not the countess. She dives into the blood bath like it's a 5-star spa. Then she rinses everything off with clean water because even in a macabre ritual, skincare comes first. Afterwards, she calls a young woman to her room, and soon the two share an intimate moment that quickly escalates into something more. The next morning, the squire sneaks out while the countess sleeps, like nothing ever happened. But peace doesn't last. Guards burst into the room, announcing her arrest. Her crime? Bathing in the blood of young women to keep her eternal youth. That's when I realized this story isn't just medieval drama, it's also true crime vibes. The narrative then jumps to the 15th century inside a church. The Pope of the time, let's say, isn't exactly a model of holiness. He shares a walnut with his children. The son kisses it, the daughter eats it, and the family bond is a little too close. After Mass, he shows his kids some explicit horse drawings, yes, horses, and lays it out straight. Sometimes a man has to give in to his instincts, and it's better to do it with the ones you love. Let's just say Freud would have a meltdown in this scene. Soon after, the son-in-law shows up, and we get an encounter nobody asked for. The Pope, the daughter, the son, and the son-in-law all join in a group ritual. Meanwhile, during Mass, a priest tries to speak about right and wrong, condemning the Pope's sins, but he's accused of blasphemy and burned at the stake. Ironic, since the real fire was going on in the bedroom next door. Finally, we see the Pope presenting his grandson to the people, a child born of this holy union. The daughter looks at the baby confused, with no idea who the father really is. And here's a real-life fact. This episode was inspired by historical rumors about corrupt popes and moral decadence at the time. The movie, directed by Walerian Borowczyk, caused a huge scandal when it was released, but it was also praised at Cannes for its bold artistic vision. Guys, I ask you to please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to help it grow so I can keep bringing more videos like this. I know you enjoy them. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.